All right, welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Thursday, and hope you're having a great day. I know the snow, storm, and everything throws off the week, but tomorrow is Friday. And then guess what, guys? Saturday, that's wild card weekend. NFL playoffs are here, ladies and gentlemen. Cannot wait. We got a jam-packed show for you all, so let's run through it real quickly. We're going to have Qadry Ismail join us here in a few minutes to talk a little bit of the Ravens here as they get ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers and kind of react to that there are some analysts out there that have the most confidence they ever have had in the Baltimore Ravens. Then, hey, stop traffic. Nick Moore is going to join us, allegedly, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, talk a little bit about the preparation for the team. There is some news regarding the Ravens and Zay Flowers. We're going to touch on that a little bit. And then after Nick leaves, we're going to have Zach's internet search of the day, or Zach's browsing history, whatever you want to call it. We have potentially a poll, and then we do have some baseball-related news. We had our hot stove happy hour yesterday, but we are going to touch a little bit on baseball here, and the conversation is going to be around, well, you saw Brent Rooker extended with the Athletics, not Oakland anymore, the Sacramento Athletics. What is next for the Orioles? And when would we see a potential extension here for some of the young players? So that's all we have right now in studio with me at the moment. Zach, how we doing?
I have decided I officially am not, accepting that playoffs are already here and that the semifinals for college football is tonight. Were we not just breaking down Isaiah Likely's toe being out of bounds?
I know.
I remember it feels like yesterday I just lost money on Florida State versus Georgia Tech in Ireland because everyone thought Florida State was going to be good and then they shit the bed. Like, where has the football season gone? It feels like we were literally just sitting here talking about, oh man, the Ravens are 0-2. Is it time to hit the panic button? Now we're hosting playoff games at the bank. It's going by way too fast.
It really was for me when the new year hit, especially for baseball season. As soon as January hit, it's over. Yeah. Like really, then in the blink of an eye, spring training is going to be here, which by the way, it's a month away for pitchers and catchers reporting.
Ugh.
But you're right. Just a little bit ago, Brad, and how you doing today?
Oh, hey.
Just a little bit ago, we were sitting in here, you, me, Wells, Means, and hoping everyone had fun with the Chiefs and Ravens game. And here we are, and now it's September. Now it is January 9th, and the Ravens are looking to make a Super Bowl run here and try to win their first title since 2012-2013 season.
Bro, I'll never forget that game in particular because John Means is a Kansas City fan.
Mm-hmm.
So all four of us, Tyler Wells, you, me, John Means, were sitting on that couch over there watching the game, and the three of us were celebrating because we thought that Isaiah Likely had scored that touchdown.
Oh.
And then literally 10 seconds later, John Means is the only one that's basically shoving it in our faces because there was a toe that separated a win from a loss.
Yeah, Isaiah came down, the arms went up for touchdown. I just remember seeing John sink into the chair of like, while we're all celebrating, we're all screaming, we're like, go for two, end it here. And then very quickly we were like, damn, that toe is out of bounds. And John was like, yeah.
He didn't even get like he didn't rub it in your face, but he just looked over and I'm just like, all right, F off, John. He didn't even say a word, but he's just like that was good. That was fun.
He gave the exact reaction you'd expect someone whose team has won back-to-back Super Bowls and they just pulled one off against your team. And he's like, damn, tough one. Yeah. And you're like, okay, John.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's also my fault. I forgot you were there, Zach.
Yeah, he was there. Zach was there. We had a good time. We had a few interviews that day.
We did.
A few interviews.
But just to your point, it's just like crazy how fast everything's gone by.
Yeah. Hey, life comes at you fast. Things, I know they say as you get older, things tend to move quicker. I really felt like this past 2024 year, which was a big year for us here.
Yeah, I have a child.
It was gone. Yeah, that's things happen very quickly.
Yeah.
So we are going to dive into all the football news here and a lot more as we get ready for the Ravens and Steelers. And obviously it's wild card weekend in general. And there are a lot of great things that we're going to be talking about specifically on Saturday. Just as a little heads up, we will be live doing a pregame show. I think we're going to do it before then the first game because once the first game hits, let's just be honest, a lot of people are not going to be as tuned in. So we'll get to all the football conversations, but guys, we want to open up at least with the show here on a personal note. Sad note here, the passing of former Baltimore Oriole Brian Matsos. Shocking is a word that's been thrown around, and above all, just extremely, extremely sad. 37 years old, and when you think about life, and we're talking about the years going on, you never know what's going to happen in life, I guess I should say, or the people around you. So I urge those, as again, more news is breaking, but cherish the moments that you have. And for Brian specifically, you see all the photos and you can reflect on all the good that he brought to the Orioles community. I mean, hell, on the field, I'll tell you who hated him was David Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Matsos was slaying David Ortiz. He couldn't figure him out. Right on the field, it was incredible. Off the field, he was a guy that had a smile on his face, brought joy to others, wanted to make a difference in the community. And I think I might have told you guys this, or Zach, last night. You know, Brian was a guy I got to meet during spring training before I got into pro ball. And I had some things going on with me personally. But when I talked to him, I knew I had his attention. And it was so simple, so lighthearted, and I felt comfortable. And that's how Brian made me feel. I know that's how he made a lot of other people feel. And may he rest in peace for Brian Matsos. And hopefully people can remember all the legacy of all the good things he has done, not just in this Baltimore community, but for the game of baseball and beyond. So
well said, Rip.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, guys, I heard the beep in the back, I think. So it might be time to get us ready. And by the time for us to get ready here, I think it's also a good time to bring up this situation here. We got a bunch of gear to show you guys as we bring on our next guest, brought to you by M&T Bank. I don't even know what to do with all this stuff.
We got so much shit. It's crazy.
We actually got the flags that we've been talking about here. So maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
So we got the For the Flock. we got
so much stuff.
All for the flock. And look, M&T Bank, limited edition Ravens playoff flags are here. Score yours at any Baltimore area M&T Bank branch before they're gone and fly it high for the flock.
There you go.
You know what? For the rest of the reads that we do, Zach's just going to get up and do that. That's what we're going to do. Perfect.
That's how you need to be.
Hell
is
yeah.
The energy we need.
Hell yeah.
So let's, again, since we heard the bing, I know he's there. Bing, ding, whatever you want to talk about. Let's bring on our guy. Former Super Bowl champion, former Baltimore Raven. He knows a thing or two about winning some games, and he knows a thing or two about putting up some big numbers against the Steelers. Qadry Ismail, Q, how we doing today? Happy Thursday.
Man, it's a happy Thursday. I can't believe a couple more hours. Well, we're probably getting closer to inside the 48-hour mark to a playoff game here in Baltimore yet again. Back-to-back AFC North champions, and I think I need to go to some M&T Bank branch and get myself a flag because it's gonna be on. I'm excited that the NFL's powers that be has us on the primetime stage of an 8:00 at night game because the Vault is gonna be on lockdown. It's gonna be a loud, boisterous game, probably one of the loudest, just simply because you're looking at Pittsburgh being Pittsburgh and us not liking them and them not liking us and all the things. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a few things that we're going to ask you about here, Q. The one being around the Zay Flowers and that whole injury situation. We are looking at weather for this game. Going to be a little chilly, so we're going to want you to talk a little bit about what it's like playing in those types of elements. But let's start with this one because Q, a certain analyst, Dan Orlovsky, has been very complimentary of Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, but he's also been very vocal on who he thinks the MVP is, right? He thinks Josh Allen is going to win it. But when Dan was asked who could dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC, he said his gut told him that there's really only one team, and it could be the one in Baltimore. So let's play that clip, Q, and we'll react on the other side.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Most confident. They've
Scale
got
of 1 to 10.
A 9.9.
Wow.
If I had to pick one team that I truly in my gut thought would go to Kansas City and beat Kansas City, it is Baltimore this year. As much as I believe in the Buffalo Bills, and I do think it's a 3-team race. Number one, it's the best season Lamar's ever had. There's no debate about that. It's historically impressive what he's done. I think the second thing is he finally has a true running mate, both behind him and next to him, that makes this offense dynamically impossible to stop. Zay Flowers, first Pro Bowl receiver that the Ravens have ever drafted, and I know he's unlikely to play this weekend. Derrick Henry, Lamar and Derrick Henry combined have almost 3,000 yards rushing. They've got 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates on defense, a top 5 offensive line. They got the second best run game in football. This is the most complete football team, the most balanced football team that Lamar's had. They got a defense ever since Kyle went back to safety. He's the number 1 defense in the NFL. I've never been more confident in Lamar's ability, but also Lamar's mindset to go get it done.
Well, right there, so Q, confidence level at a 9.99 out of 10. What say you as the Ravens start their quest to win their 3rd Super Bowl in franchise history?
Well, I'm hoping that Dan didn't put the Dan Orlovsky run out of bounds jinx on us. And it is just a simple analyst observation, because for those of us who've covered this team this entire year, not saying that he hasn't, not saying that, clearly he did one of the games, the very last game against the Browns, but be that as it may, I think that, the Ravens, in fact, are built to go to KC, get their toes in bounds and play a phenomenal game. I think that defensively is where I was a little concerned, but they've righted the ship since November. Zach Orr has this team just playing at their absolute best. The guy that scares me with all the talented skill guys that are over on the other side of the football is Brandon Stevens, but he'll have an opportunity to kind of sharpen his tool and put the lockdown seatbelt on whatever receiver he's facing, in particular George Pickens this weekend. But I think that's something that, the Ravens, they get after the quarterback. They play some really good sound defense. Now they got our Darius Washington playing deep and doing well. But then you look at the flip side of it from a Lamar Jackson aspect of things. There's going to be those really cool matchups that I think that he can exploit with his guys. It will hurt that you don't have Zay Flowers back there because of his dynamic play. But I think there are other guys that are going to just have to fill in that role. And it's I'm anxious to see it, but then I'm going to go ahead and be cliched like John Harbaugh and be like, hey, all I know is you got one game this week and you got to be 1-0, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And again, we're looking down the road when we're saying about who could challenge the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs got to take care of business, but none of that can happen, right, Q, unless Baltimore wins Saturday night at the bank, and then you survive in advance to fight and play another day. That's the name of it. And especially, even though Pittsburgh's had some struggles, fellas, they've been limping into the playoffs. It's a rivalry game. You can throw a lot of things out the window, and as much as people don't want to hear it, Pittsburgh still has won, 8 of the last 10. I think Baltimore's the better team, but that's just the way it goes. You never know what you're going to get in a Ravens-Steelers game. Q, we do know who the Ravens are not going to have, like you just were talking about with Zay Flowers. And I got to sit down with my friend Yoni talking about injuries. He owns True Sports Physical Therapy. I wanted to play a clip of us talking about it because I think this will be a good conversation for you and I. So let me play that clip about if Zay were to play this past week, what real percentage the best case scenario would be, and then potentially what it could look like with Zay having one more week of rest and how big of an impact that can be. So, Brad, can you play that clip? Expect from Zay on like a percentage-wise if it is just a grade 1 sprain in this case?
Yeah, I think you'll see 60 to 75% of what we've come to know and love in Baltimore out of Zay Flowers. And I think it also affects the route tree. I think he's running far more north-south than he is kind of coming across the field like he's known to do. He's far less shifty. You'll see him get the ball and opt to kind of take it out of bounds instead of getting the yards after catch that he's so renowned for. I think it just totally changes the way he plays the game. Could be they use him far more as a decoy than as a number one receiver.
One more week could be the difference too. One more week could be the difference for him.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that, Rip, that's a great point. Like the amount of healing that's going to transpire over 2 weeks versus one is immense. His ability to proper rehabilitate, properly load it, run through the necessary routes, that's going to be exponentially greater if you give him that one extra week. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
So that was, we recorded on Tuesday, I believe, Q, when we were talking about that. And obviously Zay's out. And obviously Zay would have been at a high risk of a re-injury. But talk to me then on the process here. First off, on one, it's cold on top of it. So playing in the cold and your body functioning well, and in your mind, if what 1 week of trying to prepare to get ready, if there's a realistic shot that the Ravens could get Zay, if it is okay enough for him to battle through.
Yeah, so I think a lot of what your guy from True Sports was saying is spot on. That, you know, that grade 1 sprain, it has that bite to it. If it was a higher grade, he certainly wasn't going to play, period. And you know, put him on a shelf and let it kind of do its thing as far as the healing, and possibly if it was even higher, been surgery. But with that said, I think to minimize further career damage, he would have to be smart when it comes to the rehab process and some of the protocols that they would employ to help him speed up the healing. When it comes to the actual art of playing receiver, he has that fast, super fast twitch, quick, movement. His game is one of, I'm going to make you miss, kind of get up the field. I can make you miss again. That probably won't be as strong. And yes, he would have to change up his game. The cool thing about it, Monken's system has seen him where he's been more down the field and, kind of not as, deliberate with strong cuts, but can kind of run routes that are intermediate, that are more rounding into it. Deep over routes, shallow crossing routes. So you can keep on move and not necessarily have to stick your foot in the ground and make a separation cut. But the flip side to it is that if Pittsburgh, if he decided to play this week and whatever, Pittsburgh probably is going to challenge and be like, all right, cool. Let's play him some form of man or some form of cloud coverage where he has to get off the line of scrimmage, and let's see how, he likes that. Let's see how he likes that physicality and if his knee holds up. So those are some of the strategies that the defense can also put on to Zay. And ultimately, I think, it's probably highly unlikely that he would play this week. If he does, boy, I'm hoping and praying that they give him the great healing powers and protocols, but then also next week, making sure that, whatever he does, the game planning is to feature him, not just throw him back out there saying that everything is okay. So weather, going to be a factor. Wind can be certainly a factor. Freeze up those joints real quick and, make you think twice. But I think if ultimately he does go out, he'll have to put himself in the mental mindset to be ready to go and face all those challenges that we just stated.
Yeah, they're going to want to have a Zay that can almost do what he's fully capable. Not that he can do all of it or saying it's going to be 100%, but to your point, Zay is a playmaker, and if he's going to be compromised, that's going to hurt Baltimore if you're trying to decide, okay, is he just full decoy, or can we actually use that Zay that is a game-changing player, because there's a big difference there. Brad, I think you had a question.
Q, not just Ravens related necessarily, but wildcard related. Adam Schefter tweeted out an absolutely insane statistic on point differential this afternoon, which I thought was very interesting. And so I kind of wanted to get your take on this. Scoring margin versus playoff teams this season. This is via Paul Hembo on ESPN. And obviously you can see the point differential difference with Baltimore. It's plus 112 all the way down to Houston minus 66. Now, Q, they don't call this wild card weekend for nothing. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this just by looking at the point differential here. Is there an underdog team that you see maybe potentially upsetting this weekend?
Yeah, I think if you look at it, Green Bay has a chance. I like the Chargers and Houston are matched up, if I'm correct with that, correct?
Yep, Houston. It's Houston, LA, the Broncos, Bills on the AFC side. On the NFC side, you got Philly, Green Bay, Rams, Vikings, and then Buccaneers, Commanders are the other games. Besides the Ravens.
Commanders and that Bucks game is going to be one where I would really look at, just Jaden Daniels and how he's been able to play. I think the Buccaneers, sure they score a lot, sure they, have had, some really exciting moments. They got a really good defense and all that, but I think that it would really be intriguing to see the Commanders kind of show up. But then again, I look at that Houston game, and I just think the Chargers, like that would be ripe for the picking for a team, because I think CJ Stroud, he's still, I don't think all there as far as just his health. So those are the two games that kind of really stick out to me.
And I think there's been upsets almost every single year as far as when we're looking at the spreads. An underdog, so to speak, has gone on the road and won. I believe the only of the Vikings are favored on the road, right? And so are the Chargers.
The Chargers better be.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, man.
I'm not rolling out Denver.
I know where you stand. Yeah. I know where you want it to go. Well, if that happens and Baltimore were to win, then hey, we'll have another week of ball here.
Chargers are favored by 3.
Which
they should be. If you've been watching the Texans play recently, there's very little to inspire confidence in that Texans.
It's just the offense is so injured.
So Houston's going to win now, is what we're saying.
we just put the whammy over on the Chargers.
Damn right there. There it is. Talking about the voodoo. Hey, get that away for the Ravens about, hey, you know what? No, Ravens are terrible. You know what? they ain't going to do it. They're not going to figure it out. And Houston is the best team in the playoffs at the moment. Hey, Q, with everything going on, then are you able to handle? I actually got the sign right here. Hey, now, are you able to keep your training in check? I know this actually.
It's been awesome, but I will tell you the NFL has kind of jacked up and hijacked my Saturday, because missile training, which you can go to missiletraining.com if you are a team, or if you are looking for individual sports performance or human movement, those adults that want to look and move better and not be just some weekend warrior. But that being said, you can go ahead and interact with me over on missiletraining.com. However, it's interesting because of the nuttiness of the Ravens schedule, and for whatever the reason, the NFL wants to put them on Saturday, jacking up my Saturday morning schedule. However, we're still getting it done throughout the week.
Okay, good. So you're doing that, and what you got, Brad?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm on a 100 sweaty days journey that I started on January 6th, where every day I'm doing something that makes me sweat for the next 100 days. So Rip and I are doing something after the show. We're going to put up on IG too, but I definitely might hit you up. Might be part of the 100 sweaty days journey.
Yeah, I can easily, I would say this, I could go to your, where your studio is located. There's a thing called stairs.
Oh. Don't worry, we have an elevator.
We have
But you can go ahead, put some of your sound equipment, the lighting and everything in a backpack, and then you just going up and down the stairs, bruh. You go all the way up to the top, come all the way back down, go all the way back up. You do that 4 times. That is a really good one, I'm telling you. And then for a cool down, you just take the stairs all the way to your floor, take the elevator, cool down, take it all the way back up to the top, then walk back down. So you do that 3 times because you're going down. Down is better than going up. And you're using the cool down with the elevator to allow your body to get back down to homeostasis. Bam, 100 days. That's one of that. Now that could be 3 of them. Those are the things I would suggest.
I love it.
You know what we're gonna have to do now is that each time I think we should have Q just give like a basic thing each time, like a basic thing. Q, so add that to the list. So you can, this is the simplest, but I actually love that. We might have to actually these stairs here.
Oh.
Well, not even that. It's got like, it says do not open door or emergencies. So this is an emergency though.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our work in.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, hey, Q, before we let you go, then where can people find you leading up to the game? Because you're staying busy for NFL Saturday.
Absolutely. So we actually moved our show, WJZ. We're going to be purple pre-gaming it, and we're going to be on Channel 13, WB or WJZ. But I should say our pregame starts at 11 on our streaming, and then we're jumping up on the main channel, getting all my things twisted up. We're going to jump on our streaming first, then we jump up on our main channel, WJZ. Check us out, purple pregame, and then of course we'll be breaking it all down afterwards and having a lot of fun. My guy Alex Glaze, Stefan at Dingle, as well as Grace Grill. She has done an amazing job coming from Charlotte, where she was covering the Panthers. The losers didn't understand what playoff football is about. Now she knows. Yeah, we back.
Hey, you guys are showing her the ropes about what playoff football is up here in Baltimore. But as we know, like we say, Baltimore's not ready for a run. Reverse jinx. They're terrible. They're awful. But you should go listen to Q talk about that all. Hey, Q, I appreciate you. Hopefully, we have a great Saturday, and we're back on Monday talking about what could be happening for future weeks. Deal?
Deal. Let's do it. I'm with you on that one, brother.
All right, Q, appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Q.
the rest of your day. You know what? I love adding the Q, the workouts, simple workouts.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
100%.
We are
Dude,
locked in.
when he told me about that, putting a backpack on with like our studio equipment, it reminded me of Dallas when we had to walk what felt like a mile throughout the airport.
We should have done. Oh my God.
With our luggage.
Oh,
each bag was like 45 pounds, and it was so bad.
So first off, well, I mean, we might have a little bit of time here because Nick, we don't know when Nick's going to join here. So maybe as we go in between.
Yeah. Just say he's on his way.
Is that what he said? He's on his way. So Nick Moore's going to join us here from the Baltimore Ravens, talk a little shop here. But when we went to the MLB winter meetings, Q's exactly right. Your own equipment or everything on your day-to-day of what you're doing, that's a workout in itself.
Yeah.
Dallas was good to us. It was great, Brad. I loved it. The airport from where we got our bags to then going to the Uber.
Yeah.
Insane.
I'm telling you, it had to have been a half a mile.
Minimum. And also the walkways weren't working. No walkways.
Yeah,
You are just lugging this shit. And I remember I was also trying to be like a hard ass. I need to get my workout in, and I'm carrying these things. Like, Brad, you know what? I'm good. And then I'm just sitting there in my mind. I'm like, good Lord. Oh, the next hallway. That's it. Nope. Oh, it's the next hallway. I was sweating. Talk about sweaty 100 sweaty days.
Yeah.
Sweated enough for 100 days in that one.
Oh my God. It was
time
brutal.
through Dallas.
It was brutal.
My goodness. Yeah. Dallas airport is so damn big. I get that they want a system.
Yeah.
But what do you do when I feel bad if people actually have trouble having to walk over there.
I mean, Orlando at least has like a tram.
No tram.
No tram in Dallas.
No tram. It turned out we needed that, though, because the next few days were absolutely wild as far as staying busy. And
I think we walked about 20 miles for those 2.5-3 days. Whatever.
Minimum. And then, lost a little bit of sleep, especially the night before we had
a little bit
of sleep. But if you're new to the channel,
just took a nap.
Yeah, we took a nap, made our flight. Goodness. Still has that smell.
Yeah.
Of waking up just not feeling too good. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We are live every Monday and Thursday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and we do our happy hour hot stove on Wednesday night. We just had it last night, 6 to 7. It's all baseball talk. We got a lot of things that are continuing to happen here, guys. Right now, it is a lot of football time. When football's over, it'll be baseball time. But for now, playoffs, wild card weekend, kicks off Saturday. Great slate of games. We'll be live on Saturday specifically before the first game so we can really talk about it and Brought to you by our friends over at M&T Bank. All for the flock. Limited playoff towels are there right now. Go score yours at any Baltimore area M&T Bank branch before they're gone and fly it high for the flock. Thank you, Zach.
Shout out M&T.
Shout out M&T Bank. There it is. Hey, and let me know what people are kind of feeling for this game. Like, or the maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you are in the Ravens playing the Steelers in the first round in a weather game potentially. And Brad, are we doing any polls for today potentially?
No, I got one. It wasn't my best work, so I'm going to try to come up with a better one.
Okay.
But the best go-to cocktail.
Ooh.
I obviously only have 4 choices, so I just went with what I thought would be good. Margarita, old fashioned, a Paloma, or a Moscow Mule.
Oh wow! I'll tell you what, I like this poll. I like this.
I just wish I had more options.
Yeah, I understand. It's hard to do that, right?
Yeah.
Is an orange crush considered a cocktail?
Yeah.
Is a crush considered a cocktail?
Yeah.
Well, I think D. Betty would agree with that
I
it's a
would think
cocktail.
so. Iron Rooster would too.
Iron Rooster would as well. The boys, and also shout out Iron Rooster. Kyle had some airtime last night with the women's team. They had a tough loss to USC.
Oof.
Down to the wire. Great game. First loss for Maryland. But yeah, I gotta say, you know what? Before I got on my tequila kick and the crushes, a Moscow Mule just hit the soul right.
Yep.
I gotta be honest. It just so refreshing. That's my thing. Zach, you're just old enough
Vodka
to drink
Red Bull.
now.
Favorite cocktail?
That's
Vodka
not a
Red Bull.
cocktail. Oh.
I like to, splurge a little bit and have a nice vodka Red Bull on the rocks.
Jack and Coke's my cocktail go-to.
Yeah.
If we're putting Orange Crush in there,
Because the cocktail's got more than 2 ingredients usually.
Yeah, well, yeah, with that, it's still you can do
vodka Red Bull on. We had a third.
There it is. There it is.
Put a little garnish on it.
I can see Zach full. He has to go to a nice hotel. Like, say there's a conference. He's in a suit. It's very odd to see Zach in a suit, but he's in a suit. And I can see you. Everyone has these other drinks, cocktails, and nice presentation. And they'll say, "Sir, would you like one of those?" And he'll point to a Moscow Mule, an old fashioned. He goes, "No, I'll get a vodka Red Bull in a plastic cup."
Yeah, keep putting it in a solo cup.
Solo cup with an 8-day-old lime wedge.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Just to garnish it.
I hate to break it to you. Not one vote for the Moscow Mule.
Damn. I mean, it's a it's a similar thing. We can maybe ask our guest that's coming on. I heard a ding.
We will. I already know his actually, and I'll let you in on that one.
Okay.
The Margarita came in first with 57%.
It's staple.
Old fashioned was 35. Paloma was 7, and then Moscow Mule was 0.
I will say good marg. I mean, let's be honest here. Good marg is. You guys know where my heart started with the tequila.
Yeah.
A lot of the bottles down yonder.
Our guest really likes Orange Crushes in a can.
In the can. Who doesn't like it in the can more than Nick Moore? Let's bring on our friend. There he is. Hey, we have
Sorry, guys. How's it going? Hey, say
How
hi.
we doing?
Say hi. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. I love the pajamas. I have the same pair.
Yeah, we got our Where's Waldo look today. He looks good.
He looks great.
Hair's on point.
Yeah. He's always dialed in. Yeah, that's Dada.
Hey, so unfortunately though, little guy didn't like the snow.
No, he like it was like he was like trapped out there. Like I dropped him I carried him down to the snow
Place.
I put him in the snow, and it was like his feet were stuck to the ground. He didn't realize because the snow was like halfway up his shin, and he was not sure he could move. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, no, don't touch that. So we got a sled. My mom sent up a sled. So yeah, Mimi sent us a sled. So we're gonna try it out today. Mimi? Yeah, Mimi.
That's awesome. Hey,
we're gonna try it out today. See what happens.
A little more icy though. Be careful. But I can just be, hey, your first snow experience.
No, he was in it last year. He actually enjoyed it more last year. He was he had just turned 1 when it snowed this time last year. And he enjoyed it more. We made some snow angels, but this year not so much.
Yeah, I was good. Well, I think maybe don't drop him in next time. We'll start with that. But hey,
Listen
you know
here,
what?
bro.
You
Okay,
know-
Brad knew what I was talking about. Because he has a child. That
Yeah.
means I took him and I put him over there. I didn't just say, "Hey, get over there."
Hey, whatever works. Hey, go ahead. I have seen some people when their kids were a little bit older and the snow was a little bit higher. I have seen like, hey,
Oh yeah.
room, and then just plump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I used
if
to love
it's
that as a kid.
2 feet deep, and he's like 6 years old, then yeah, I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna huck him off the dang porch.
You're
Oh, yeah.
gonna do
No,
like
Daddy doesn't need those.
shot disc or
Oh, yeah.
the shot put. That's
Yeah.
what
Doing like WWE SmackDown.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Daddy
see-
has those on.
Hey, it seems like vibes are good, man. Vibes are good. Vibes are high. Zach, but I was reading reports that I thought that practice players, the game's outside on
Yeah,
Saturday.
it's kind of crazy. I don't know what we're doing with the specialist group, but yesterday it's reported that everyone's outside. Everyone's practicing outside except for the specialist unit. And I mean, do we not have weather apps?
Is that a Georgia thing?
Bro, listen, I don't know what reporter needs to get fired for putting that out there, but special teams practice was inside all week. Okay, not the specialists, special teams. We were all inside, and then they went outside for practice. It just so happens that we're done. We practiced outside on Wednesday. I was out there yesterday. We had field goal period yesterday.
I don't know. What I understand,
yeah, it seems like
when you're on a team, and especially if you're two-time captain of a game, you would think the responsibility lies
I
on
was
that
expecting
person.
Nick to do the Ezekiel Elliott, roll up the crop top, let people know that the cold doesn't bother him.
Doesn't bother him.
Listen.
Be like Tennessee going to play Ohio State. Actually, don't do that
That
because they
was
got their ass kicked. Yeah, don't do
Yeah,
that.
look, I was doing what a captain would do, and I was taking care of my shit, making sure that I'm ready to rock and roll on Saturday night at 8:00 when it's going to be 20 degrees.
Perfect.
Okay, they don't question my work. All right.
Hey, no one says they're questioning your work. I just
Hey.
know the three things you can count on in life: death, taxes, and riling Nico over anything.
Everyone,
What?
no. Everybody wants to be a specialist until it's time to be a specialist. Okay. Talk all that shit.
I'll be honest. I don't know
practice that
any,
much,
unless
this
you
and
are
that.
unless you are a kicker in the NFL. I don't think anybody wants to be a kicker.
Or a long
That's a
snapper.
lot of
or long.
pressure.
No,
I'm
but-
just saying the pressure. Like
Monday
They-
through Saturday, they see us, we only practice 30, 45 minutes, and then we're done and we're playing pinball or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, you guys have such an easy life." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, you go out there, hit a 56-yarder and 30-mile-an-hour crosswind with 2 seconds left on the game clock to just tie the game."
That's. I mean,
Nobody,
that's
nobody wants that action, bro.
it's like going to your local farmer's market, getting what you want. It's easy Sunday,
Yeah.
But overall, in all seriousness, the context of it, like you just put it like that, like, yeah, you guys, you don't get any of the glory. Like, truly, you don't. It's things mess up that whose fault they're going to blame. But when
Yeah.
things go well, it's supposed to status quo. That's how it's supposed to go. Make it every time. Have a good snap. Don't mess up is essentially what it is. Hey, but Nick, seems like vibes are good, right? I'm seeing good vibes going to this game on Saturday.
Yeah, vibes are good, man. We had a great week of practice. When you play the same team 3 times in the same year, you obviously know them. Practice is a lot more efficient because you already know everything you've seen. We got 17 games of tape, but we got 2 against these guys, so we kind of have a good idea of what they're going to do on all 3 phases and how they're going to attack us and how we're going to attack them. So we know each other really well, and we were able to be really fast this week and have a good execution style practice week, and it was very exciting. So hold on, I'll be right back.
You're good. I'm also
Go upstairs. I thought he was left out.
Go upstairs. Go. Hey, go jump in the snow. Go ahead. Go dive in the
He's
snow.
going. Mom's got him. But no, man, it was a great week of practice. Everybody's excited to get rolling. It's going to be a hell of a game. Anytime the Steelers match up with the Ravens, it's a great game. But 8:00 Saturday night, first round of the playoffs. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. So I can't wait for it.
And Nick, so I'm actually curious. So you talked about, okay, it's the third time you face the Steelers. It's so there's that familiarity there, but it is a playoff game. So, there is that extra kind of, oomph to game. What has, kind of the feeling around the building been this week? Is it something where you guys are like, are you acknowledging that, hey, this is the playoffs, this is where we're supposed to be, it's now or never, or are you trying to do the more normal approach, like, hey, it's another game? What kind of is the vibe around the I guess
we've been in playoff mode since the Eagles game. Since we lost to Philly, we saw ourselves, we were 2.5 games back behind the Steelers. So our goal at that time was to win the division, and we had to win every game in order to do that. So we've been in playoff mode for a month now, and for us, this is another game for us. We're not looking at it like it's a bigger game than it is. Obviously, it's a huge game because it's the next game. It just so happens to be the first round of the playoffs, and it just so happens to be against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for us, we're doing the same stuff we've been doing for the last 18 weeks. We're locked in, we're focused, planning on executing and getting the job done on Saturday night. So we're not playing it up in our heads like, oh, this is a playoff game. Like, yeah, we expected to be here because we have a talented roster and we know how hard we work and we know how good we are as a team. But we had some ups and downs this season, and we had to overcome some of that adversity, and we had to basically win out. And when we got into that fight or flight mode, guys showed up swinging. We were fighting hard and won four straight at the end of the season. We played some really, really good football in all three phases, and obviously there's some things we can clean up all around the board. So, we're just looking to play our best ball this weekend, play Ravens football, execute, be physical, be disciplined, and go out there and have ourselves a hell of a match on Saturday night.
Yeah, honestly, Nick, I would agree with that. It was good reset after the Eagles game, and then it was, hey, you got to lock in. This is it. We want to win the division. We got to run the table. And it's the motto, try to be 1-0 each week. That's the goal, which I love. One thing, though, that before all this happened, and I think when people look back in hindsight, there was some good things happening specifically on one side of the ball that no one maybe was talking about until the winning streak, and that's the Ravens defense, man. And actually, Kay Adams brought this up on her show. We're going to play the clip for you just to show how dominant the Baltimore Ravens defense has been down this stretch.
I know we got in the Lamar MVP discussion is full force everywhere, and even the Derrick Henry of it all. But I think we're underreacting to the fact that the Ravens have had the most dramatic midseason turnaround I've ever seen on the defensive side of the ball, ever. Underline, italicized, bold it, highlight it, whatever. Over the last 8 weeks, the Ravens have gone from the bottom 10 in pretty much every category to first, numero uno, not top 5, not top 3, no. They're leading the entire NFL in every freaking one. And it all stems from the improvement in the secondary, as you can see here. Voila. They were dead last in passing yards allowed, 26th in passer rating, and a few little tweakments from DC Zach Orr that have really done their thing. Wow, there's a lot of puns that don't need to be made on this show right now. They moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety, okay? First round corner Nate Wiggins seeing the field a lot more, and he's been a total star. One of the lowest passer ratings of any DB in the league this year. How about Marlon Humphrey, just living his actual best life? He's played almost exclusively in the slot. Dominant year, career high 6 picks. A pick 6, too. The addition of Trey White at the deadline gives them depth that they need. I like the move. Everyone knows I'm a big Trey White fan. And then it's like these revitalization, these oldies but goodies. Are they hanging out?
So it looked right there. She's saying with the oldies but goodies, saying with White being acquired, he's been a piece that can help this team. Kyle Van Noy was probably the one that everyone looked at last year, right, of going, well, wait a minute, what are they going to get out of him? Well, you're going to get a guy that's going to just get to the quarterback and get his money, by the way.
Yeah.
Got his money on that one sack against the Browns, got the incentive. But, Nick, I mean, just talk about it. It's true. The Ravens defense, even going back even a couple weeks before that graphic, playing the Steelers, defense played really well in that game, because then the game before that was the Bengals, where it was down to the wire 35-34. But since that Bengals game, truly, the boys are flying around there on the defensive side, and clearly the numbers are indicating how successful they've been.
Yeah, I think, we had to make some moves in the secondary. We were struggling a little bit early. I think Jamar Chase just had a career season in 2 games against us. And, I think guys took that personally. And not just the secondary, but the pass rush, the linebackers playing drop zone and helping out in the pass game, and also being effective in the run game and kind of making teams one-dimensional. But, I mean, we have between Roquan, Kyle Van Noy, Marlon, AD stepping up, playing great ball, Nate Wiggins really coming into his own, Matabike, all these guys, Adafe getting to 10 sacks. Like, we have some superstars on the defensive side of the ball. And, we had new defensive coordinator this year in Zach Orr. And, we were early on, we were struggling all around. I think it was every part of our game, offense, defense, and special teams. And, we kind of had to check ourselves at the door after we lost that Cleveland game. And, we were playing good enough football before that to win games. Obviously, we won 5 in a row, I think, or whatever that stat is. But, I kind of said it a little bit ago. We got to a point in the season where it was like, look, boys, we're either gonna start winning some damn football games, or we're gonna find ourselves watching TV in January. And guys took that personal and put it upon themselves to do what they needed to do, and do it as a unit and get better and understanding and communicate to be able to execute at the highest level. And it's showing. I mean, AD showed up, and he's the guy. I joke around. I call him hit stick man. Anytime someone gets near that goal line, boy, you better watch out. AD's going to hit stick you. And all these guys. I mean, Nate's really turning over and becoming a really, really standout player, showing off that 4.2 speed and really showing why he was the first-round draft pick. And Marlon's taken on that leadership role that we kind of were lacking in that secondary. And Kyle Hamilton. He's been a standout player, the whole time he's been in Baltimore. And then you got dudes like Van Noy, who's having a career year in his 11th year at 33 years old, and he's able to do that. But what he's doing is helping out Adafe, because he's taking more eyes off of Adafe and putting him on KVN, and Adafe is able to show up and get 10 sacks. And you got Matabike being Matabike, and then lo and behold, we had a little rotating door, I think, at the will linebacker with Chris Board and Trenton Simpson and Malik Harrison. And those guys have kind of been sharing that role together, and they've all 3 played really good football at different points in this season. And having Roquan at the helm of being the kind of the catalyst for that defense, being the leader, he's a guy that dudes rally behind. That's a physical football player, and that guy took it personal early on when we weren't at where he felt like we needed to be as a team. And he kind of took those boys in and was like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And all we got to do now is show up on Sundays and do it. And we've seen over the last eight weeks or so that, these guys are the real deal, and they can be the best defense in the league. And I think we're going to continue to see that from them.
Nick, was there a moment in this season where the entire secondary just decide they're just going to crash out on every play? Because I think it's at least 4 to 5 times a game where you just see one of the biggest hits you'll ever see, and you look up and it's like our Darius Washington, or it's Kyle Hamilton or Marlon Humphrey. The entire secondary, like you said, is hitting over the past few weeks. It feels like they are playing downhill. They're playing with confidence.
Physical.
Yeah, it truly is incredible to see. And, I know you've talked about on the sidelines, it feels like there's a different energy in that group. And like you said, I think, guys like Roquan, like Marlon have stepped up and been those leaders, and man, is it paying off.
Yeah, they've been physical. I remember last week when Marlon flipped that guy over.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at Jordan and was like, dude, he is playing mean right now. Like, that guy is physical. But those guys, we got a really good group with AD, Kyle, Nate, Trey, and Marlon. They got it seems like they have really good chemistry together, and they trust each other, and they're all playing complementary football on top of each other. And so when you do that, it allows guys freedom to kind of be a little bit more aggressive in certain situations. And we're seeing that. I mean, Kyle's always been a big hitter. Like, he's a guy that, to me, he's like your Brian Dawkins. Like, he's going for the man and not the ball. He's a physical player, and he's always been that way. And Marlon, anytime you can get a corner-like player to come down in the box and put a hit on a tight end or a running back, that sets the tone for everybody else. Like, you do that early, and that just lets everybody know, like, hey, boys, we're being fucking physical today. And Marlon's taking that on himself. I mean, he's the most veteran guy in that secondary, and he's the highest paid guy in that secondary, and he's stepping up and he's being a leader, and we're seeing the Marlon Humphreys that we all expect to see every day in and day out. And so I love watching him, man. He's an energetic player. He's a very emotional player. He's a physical player, and he's a smart player, and he's making huge plays, and I love it.
Yeah, they're announcing their presence on the field, and it's a real thing. And anything that you do in any sport, when a team has that moment, right? The other team, whether they say it out loud or not, it's in the back of their mind being like, shit, it's different. I mean, it's the same thing like I'll say with baseball for you guys. If a team comes out of the gate just swinging and they're being aggressive, or a pitcher's on the bump and he is just going right at you, and you're like, oh, damn, it's going to be a long day. Like, we're going to have to grind. It's the same thing I see with football. If you set that tone from the beginning, then you're like, oh, this is our brand. You better be ready for 60 minutes. And that's what they're showing. Hit stick, Nick. Hit stick, I love. Yeah. Zach probably has no idea where hit stick came from.
Yes, I do, man.
Thank you. Okay, I was worried.
The hit stick.
I spam hit stick. It's my downfall.
The only way to tackle, dude.
It came out.
There's no other way to tackle in that game.
Wasn't it 2005? Because
I
it was
think
Ray
Lewis. They added the hit
Ray
stick.
Lewis.
I think it was 2005 they added the hit stick.
It was around that year. It was like the 4 or 5.
I'll be honest. I played it recently. I put a picture on X. Running with Jamal Lewis put me in a whole different world. And I think I set the single games sack record with Terrell Suggs.
Dude, being Michael Vick in that game also was
that was the first cheat code of a video game player, besides Nick Moore in 2020.
The vertical threat.
As the vertical threat. Hey, I think one more quick football, and then we'll just get you out of here. But there was one real cool thing that Hard Knocks picked up on, or any of the documentaries picked up on, Brad.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but Rosengarten, approached Myles Garrett about asking for a jersey, and I just thought it was a really cool exchange, and want to get your reaction to it, and we can chat about it on the other side.
Tell him nobody can. I get that jersey. Hey, you in the league, y'all winning games, y'all looking great. Here, never nobody. I got you. Got me? Yeah.
So, it was just a cool little moment. I don't know if it was more of like a fanboy type of moment for Rosengarten, but I mean, it was really cool that Myles said what he said. I just thought some really cool words from him. Almost kind of like a welcome to the league type of moment from a veteran guy who's an All-Pro to one of the newer guys. So thought that was really cool. What were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think Myles is a class act. Obviously, he's a very formidable opponent. He's going to probably win Defensive Player of the Year. He's arguably one of the greatest pass rushers we've ever seen in football. The things that he can do from a speed, power, agility standpoint. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that can do what he can, and he can get up there and jump over the line of scrimmage and block a field goal. And he's just a tremendous player, and I really love watching him play. I hate playing him twice a year because every now and then he'll line up like. This past week, he was lining up in the A gap, and fortunately for me, he was a very nice person, and he wasn't taking it out on me that game. So, but it's so much fun to watch him. And for Roger, Roger's a young kid, and he's just first year in the league, and Myles has been kind of a staple at defensive end for a long time. And Roger coming into the league playing right tackle as a rookie. Obviously, you're going to get a tenacious matchup. I mean, we have between him and TJ Watt, Rogers had a hell of a year. Going up against those guys, I mean, it's incredible. You got to play him twice a year. Now we're going to play TJ for a third time. Hats off to Roger for holding his ground and being able to handle that and well enough for us to make plays and win football games. And I would imagine for Roger that was a situation where you get an opportunity to talk to a guy like that after, maybe you guys had a really good play against each other, or you guys been battling, games coming to an end, and he's kind of like, this is like his first opportunity to talk to him really one-on-one, and you shoot your shot, man. I don't know if he's gotten a jersey or not, but for Raj, I mean, I've had guys like that where I've seen him and like, man, I've been watching this guy for years, and I never asked anybody for their jersey, but like when we played Aaron Rodgers my first year in 21, like I've been watching this dude on TV for it felt like 2 decades. And so obviously when I got a chance to shake his hand, and same thing with Tom Brady, like, of course I'm going to go up to him and say that, like, it's what an honor it is to take the field with you guys and be able to go to battle against you guys. And that for Rodgers, like a personal thing, because he's going up against him all the time. So, shout out to Miles. He's just a stand-up guy and not obviously one of the best players in the game. So hopefully he sends my man Raj his jersey.
That'd be awesome. I think the cooler part for Roger, and especially a lot of the offensive line too, like how much crap they got to start this year. And it's validation at that point of being, hey, one of the best in the game is not only acknowledging you as a player, but acknowledging your group of what you guys have done. Because you know what, Nick? The season ended after week 2, if you didn't know.
You
guys
That's
suck.
what I was told. I guess the last 15 games were just kind of a wash.
Hey, but you know what? Don't get comfortable, Nick. I'll tell you right now. Hey, you guys are the underdogs, in my opinion. You suck. The Steelers have won 8 of 10. Keep that edge. Keep that edge no matter what. And I know you guys will. I'm excited for your run.
Final quick thing before Nick.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw this before you hopped on. I doubt you did. You're not on social media.
No.
Carson Beck no longer going to the NFL draft.
I did see that.
Portal.
Carson
did see that.
Yeah, I'm sure Carson called you to get approval.
Yeah. I had to give him my okay. You got to clear with the boss first. But, I'm not really sure what's going on down there in Athens. Carson's is a really talented football player. Obviously, this year he didn't play as well as he was hoping to play. Had high expectations coming into the season. Obviously played rather terrible in the middle of the year there. So maybe he's looking for a fresh start. Maybe he's thinking that long term he's got a better option to be around a different quarterback coach or whatever. I wish him the best of luck. But I think in Georgia it's time to figure out what we're going to do next at quarterback, because we've Gunner played well against Texas, but he played pretty good against Notre Dame. But I'm not really sure if that's the next level for us, or if that's the direction that we're going to go moving forward. So, we'll see what happens. But unfortunately for us, I was really excited that Carson was going to come back. But all things must come to an end. So somebody will step in Miami with his
girlfriend. Apparently Carson gave everybody the flu over Notre Dame. So.
Well, no, Carson.
He was throwing it on purpose. Huh?
Damn. Hey, you know what?
If I know one thing, I know Kirby Smart's going to get a quarterback. It's just a matter of who and how much it's going to cost.
Yeah,
he's going to get somebody.
Get a step back here. It's not even just Kirby. It's just how much is Georgia, the system of Georgia. What is the dollar amount that's going to be pushed out?
It's
not a Kirby Smart thing right there. What money's getting thrown out to a guy?
Earlier this year, the one college coach, I forget for what program, said if you want a solid quarterback in college football right now, you need $8.5 million.
That's just crazy.
And Nick, that's your yearly salary.
Yeah, Nick, you go play Georgia.
Look, if I was making $8.5 million a year, boys, I don't know what I'd be doing, but I wouldn't be doing this show right now.
I was just going to say he would not be on this show. I know that.
I would not be.
He would.
Those golf trips would double.
Yeah. That is a fact. This dude would be a member at every course on the East Coast.
Multiply my salary by 8.5, and you get there.
We're almost there. We're almost there, Nick, and I'm excited. But you know what? For Carson, hopefully he recovers well too, injury-wise. Baseball injury, UCL. So hopefully he's on the up and up, and maybe one day Georgia can get back to competing with the real blue blood.
We'll see, man.
And
Penn State,
the real teams that deserve to be there.
You got to do it year in and year out, boys. You don't just show up one time. We're going to be back, bro. Don't worry about us.
Didn't you
We're gonna
just
be fine.
okay? I'll save everyone the breakdown and meltdown that you had when you guys lost. Oh, we're back to 20 years ago. This is terrible. You know what? But
That game was that was what it was like when I was there. That was pathetic all around. That would look like us when we played Texas in the Sugar Bowl. That's exactly what it looked like. I mean, the difference was like we weren't playing for shit other than the Sugar Bowl, but we weren't in the playoffs, and we literally just partied for a week straight. And dude, we had a picture. I won't name anybody's names, but we had a group. We had a group me. The team group me, and we had gotten a picture at about 5:30 in the morning, day of the game. So, like 15 hours before kickoff, from a guy and several other teammates of mine that were out on a party bus with a bunch of people at 5:30 in the morning, and we play a game in 15 hours. And actually, it was only 14 hours because kickoff was 7:45 Central Time.
Oh,
so needless to say, I was not surprised when we lost because I was there, but I can't speak to the situation that happened this year. It was. I was thoroughly disappointed. I was honestly disgusted watching that football game because it reminded me of the Georgia when I played. It was not the Georgia that we have seen the last 3 or 4 years.
It wasn't.
It looked like undisciplined. They weren't very physical. They weren't flying to the ball like they normally do. It just looked sloppy. And as a former player and a fan of the Dogs, I was very disappointed in that game because we had never lost to Notre Dame. I still don't believe they're a better team, but that day we just didn't play well.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, now Kirby's got 6 months to prepare for the Marshall Thundering Herd next time we see him, and may the best team win.
Yep, and maybe $10 million will show up out of thin air for the next Georgia quarterback.
It won't be out of thin air because they got it. It's laying around. Kirby's got it in his pocket, probably.
Yeah, it's just sitting. It's actually just sitting there right next to him.
I can promise you he's game planning for week 2 if we play Marshall week 1.
We'll see you at in the dome.
Yeah, that'll be great. But one day. Well, Nick, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'll bother you soon. Thank you for your funny jokes and not so funny jokes. Like Nick saying, "Hey, are you going to come on today?" For you, absolutely not. And I'm like, haha, dude. See you at 3:30, buddy.
You're lucky the boss cleared it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have came on.
And you know what? All props to the boss.
Yeah, she runs a tight ship around here, man. This is her domain.
They got to keep you in line, obviously.
Yeah, hey, somebody's got to, man. Somebody's got to.
We'll work on it on this side. You guys got it covered at home. But hey, be good, be safe, and get outside for a practice once in a while. All right, Nick. Appreciate it.
Good luck tomorrow, Nick.
All right, it's Saturday, but thanks. I'll see you.
Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
Kickoffs in 52 hours.
We're just gonna
He's
be out there
locked
tomorrow.
in. He's locked in.
I'm just really excited for football.
Really excited, Nick.
Just be more focused, all right?
Yeah, be locked. Get out of here.
God damn it.
See
All
you.
right. Goodbye. See you guys.
Oh, well, you know what?
Jesus.
He was on one today.
Just be more locked in.
Yeah, be more locked in. He was locked in today. Oh, that was good. But one day.
Nick was on one today.
I'll tell you what, I think all of our guests in the show, we've been on one. It's been a great show so far, I think. And hey, you're new to the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live every Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Wednesdays for now, we're doing our happy hour MLB hot stove from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the channel. And we're going to be live for the Ravens-Steelers, a pregame show. But we're going to start consider it like a wild card pregame show because we're going to go live before the first game so we can make sure that everything's safe around the lots as well and make sure everyone's in the right frame of mind. So join us on Saturday. And hopefully then by that time, you guys have gotten your gear, Zach. We need our gear.
Oh, yeah.
For Saturday. And if you're looking for these sweet flags, all for the flock, that looks good like that. Brought to you by our friends over at M&T Bank. And look, limited edition Ravens playoff flags right there are here. Score yours at any Baltimore area M&T Bank branch before they're gone and fly it high for the flock. All for the flock. It's going to be buzzing on Saturday night at the bank. And you know what? Also, that the Ravens, this is the first time they're hosting Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the first time that a Baltimore team has hosted the Steelers for a playoff game since 1965, I think is what I saw the year.
Yeah, 4 score and many years ago.
Obviously the Colts, but like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
we've Ravens have played the Steelers so many times in the playoffs.
Always at Pittsburgh.
Always in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
it's just wild.
And the last time they played the Ravens, or Steelers played the Ravens in the playoffs, that was, I believe, in 2014. 2014, 2015.
The AB game?
No, it was in the playoffs. Ravens won on the road. The AB game was Christmas.
That's right.
And there was a lot of shots involved in the situation for me. It was every time there was a turnover, you took a shot or took 2. And then if a team scored a touchdown, you took 1. Nice. I don't have a problem, by the way. It's just on the holidays, you just have to, let it loose a little bit.
Let it loose a little.
Gotta let it loose a little bit.
Look, we don't really talk about Steelers on this capacity, but like, lots of pressure on Mike Tomlin this weekend too.
A lot. They have not won a playoff game in 10 years.
Yeah.
So
9.
It's going to be a great game. And I know that a lot of people are confident, but rivalry games are different. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a tough game. And Kevin, you want one of these hats, buddy.
You got to actually come in the studio.
Come to the studio.
Yeah, honestly. But good for you.
To clarify, these hats are not for Zay Flowers.
They're not.
It's what's the thing?
It's for the flock.
For the flock. I thought we were like, oh, Zay Flowers hats.
It even says on the back, all for the flock.
Yeah, so
it says it right there.
But isn't Zay Flowers number 4?
But he is number 4. I think also
isn't he endorsed by him?
I think he is.
Oh, is he?
I think
then that would make sense.
Yeah, but they're pretty neat.
I literally asked you that. I was like, oh, is Zay Flowers endorsed? And you're like, no, it's just for the flock.
Yeah, lock in, guys.
Lock in, yeah. Lock in. Football season. Football. Well, hey, before we get into our baseball conversations here in a moment, why don't we take a ride on our Adams Jeep to Zach's browsing history? That's terrifying. Baby. Saw Chuck up there today, guys. They say hello.
Hey.
But our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland, Zach, over under 7 seconds. Oh, it's happening right now. 3, 2, 1. Whammy. There it is, baby. Our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland, 5 minutes from the Ironbird Stadium. And look, you're in the market for a car, used or new. Go check them out. And you can check for a price range on their website of adamsjeepofmaryland.com to find the vehicle that fits what you're looking for. And hey, here's the better part. You go up there and buy a vehicle and you say the phrase, hey, I love the Ryan Ripken Show, or Rocco sucks. And you tell Chuck or Matt that, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. And they'll give you up to $1,000 in gas money with purchase of a vehicle up there. So, hey, we appreciate our friends up at Adams Jeep of Maryland. They've been our OG sponsor from the start. So thank you to them. Now, Zach, what have you found on the internet today?
Yeah, so something pretty interesting. Oh, shit. How did that get up there?
Whoa!
I think I must have accidentally looked up teams that can actually beat Notre Dame in football. That's my bad.
That's it.
So okay,
send that. CC that to Georgia.
Yeah, we'll make sure that gets to the right people. But the actual thing, talk about do not believe everything you see on the internet.
You don't say.
So we had earlier this year the Baltimore Banner. Went around earlier this week and asked some players about, hey, what are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson's new unisex cologne? Here's the video.
I don't know if I'd wear it, but it's not bad. It smells good. I don't know what it smells like. Yeah, just like real good.
So, pretty normal video. It went viral, though, with this caption. Because people don't read and see something from burner accounts. Ravens players try out Lamar Jackson's viral cologne in locker room. It smells like George Pickens. Someone would then say, soft? Yeah, smells just like this. Saturday night will be a movie. Did anyone hear anything in regards to George Pickens in that video?
No,
because it wasn't said. But some account trying to be funny and make like a little smack talk and pretend
bring it
goes viral. And then we have actual accounts who don't listen to videos, just see captions and assume it's right. Now spreading it. And this has 304,000 views. It has gone viral. I've seen stuff about certain, outlets and stuff having to come out and be like, hey, this is not correct. This is not what was said. But it's just another example of, because when I first saw the video, I was like, why are we talking about George Pickens? I was like, guys, George Pickens is the last person. And I watched the video and I'm like, did I miss something?
I mean, it's still hilarious.
It's still hilarious. But if we're going to get trash talk and make these Steeler fans who are like, oh, bulletin board material, like at least make it something we actually said.
Also, I watched that clip of all the players. I feel like they were just being nice to Lamar. I'm sure. I got the sense that it was a little bit more feminine than it was.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Smells like a beach. I think.
I think we should go purchase one and we'll test it.
Oh, I already have one in the cart. Don't you worry.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, there it is.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll have one to try. Don't you?
Can we do that? Oh, so whenever you get it, let me know. Or if you want me to purchase that, it can be a business expense.
Because I think we definitely have to.
But in all seriousness, I think it's safe to say that the internet is a very, very wonderfully unpredictably crazy environment. Some things may be true, some things may be not true, some things may be good, Brad, and some things may be shit. So in this case, it's making a story out of nothing. And I saw Paul Mancano even explain, hey, whoa, nothing happened here.
Yeah.
But it's a rivalry week. A lot's on the line, and it brought more attention to this rivalry in the game. It's going to piss off a lot of people. Hell, when Nick was on last time, it certainly made some people mad about the PQ comments. So it fires people away.
Hey, I forgot to ask him about that too. But are you going to say anything to Freiermuth?
I just think it's so funny that we had no clue that had gone so gotten so viral in the Steelers community. Because all of a sudden I'm like, okay, so I go and look up Nick Moore Steelers, and it was 20 articles, and it was all pro and all this. I'm like, how did we not know this happened? We were tagged in tweets about it. We didn't get notifications.
I didn't get any notifications.
No. It was big accounts posting this stuff, and we didn't see it at all, which was hilarious.
Yeah, don't you love that?
Yeah,
good times, man. But you know what?
Hey, I got one more poll for today.
Oh, good. I was actually going to go to that next. So it works.
Okay. Yeah. Best playoff food to have this weekend.
Oh.
I ended up choosing wings, nachos, sliders, and pizza, and we have another 0%er, which is crazy.
So wait, wings, nachos,
sliders, pizza. Yeah.
No chicken tenders on that.
I bet people not voting for sliders.
Yes. Correct.
Not
one vote. There's 48 votes, not one for sliders.
I get that though, because if I'm going to pick of those four, me personally, I love a good slider. So I would, but if I'm going football and I have to have one of those, I would say I gotta go classic wings. It's basic, but
are we talking about at the stadium? We talking about tailgating?
Just on game day.
Yeah, game day,
game day being at the stadium, if you're going to be moving around or whatever and you don't have a chance to sit down and eat a plate, sliders for me would be one of the easiest things.
Pizza would be the easiest.
And pizza as well.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on if the sliders are the little baby sliders, little babies.
Yeah.
Little babies, then, maybe one bite, like Kevin with the corn dogs.
Yeah, if you're tailgating, there's tons of burgers at tailgates.
Yes.
Right? I was just surprised. Oh, now we got one because I said something about it. We got one for sliders.
There it is. And skin hot dogs are also on the menu.
Wings would be mine too. I mean, I could live off it.
I think wings on a football Sunday or football time in general, whether it's at the stadium or whatever, take out the circumstances.
Yeah.
That's that is a staple for me.
I do need to make a comment real fast because I just saw this comment. That was when players actually wanted to play. I'll have you know, we just got a quarterback. All right, we got one in the depth chart now. So
you got a coach yet?
Actually, yeah, we have a coach.
We
are, baby. Finally getting some roster spots filled. Yeah, so
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, Zion Turner, the future.
You know what? And as we close out this whole football conversation and the polls, and we're going to have a lot more coming your way on Saturday. So on Saturday, make sure you're joining us before the wild card games kick off. We'll set the time. And if you're looking to be a part of a community, check out the free Discord. That's we'll put the link in there so you guys can join. But on top of it too, be a channel member too. Click that join button. And I apologize in advance. We're not going to have call-ins just given the schedule. And speaking of for our channel members, part of that reason is you guys might be getting some content coming your way soon that no one's going to get first. And spoiler alert, it's going to involve a little bit of baseball. We're going to have a lot more of those.
The Ace Bowl.
Yellow baseball.
We should like tell them who it is, because if they want to see it, they're going to have to click that join button.
I don't know if we do yet. I think we hold off. I think we heal Cinnamon, because I think we're going to have multiple. Then we play a teaser video and be like, no way. No way. Well, we also don't know. We got to talk to him about a few things.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about
Just
that.
give him one hint.
He almost, well, I don't know if the people are to get this. He's a big hockey guy. Like he was, no, like.
I know, but like.
Great hint, right?
Here, I got you.
Big hockey guy.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. That narrows it down.
Yeah.
That narrows
That's
it down.
way better than hockey.
He likes hockey.
He likes hockey. He played baseball.
Yeah.
And like SpongeBob. But let's finish out this conversation about this wild card weekend here. Let's take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Beautiful. Beautiful, guys. Our friends up there in Charlestown Races. Look, hour from Owings Mills, hour and 15 from Baltimore. And on January 31st, they are welcoming ESPN Bet into the sportsbook there, and we're going to be up there. And there's a lot of things planned. And actually, there's a specific guest that's going to be there that may or may not be joining the Ryan Ripken show.
Ooh.
But they have been great to us, and it is a ton of fun. We have so much more planned, but more to come on what's happening up there, not just for this event. If you're into just concerts, shows, or if you want to get a little bit frisky there at the sportsbook or around the tables there, hey, that's the place to be. And it has been voted one of the best places to work in West Virginia. So go check out our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Pretty good. Proud of you guys. A lot of good kids. To close it out, the Ravens at this moment are 9.5-point favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over and under set at 43.5. Going through the rest of the wild card weekend, Chargers favored by 3. Bills favored by 8.5 over the Broncos. Eagles, 5-point favorites over the Green Bay Packers. Buccaneers, 3-point favorites over the Commanders. And the Vikings drop down. Vikings only 1-point favorites over the Los Angeles Rams, who did beat them. And actually, when the Vikings, their 2 losses this year, actually come to the same team. Lions twice, or I guess Lions and Rams. And guess what? They just lost to the Lions. Could history repeat itself? It's their only 2-game losing streak of the season was when they lost to the Lions and the Rams earlier on. So, guys, let's.
Hey, you want something else for your betting pleasure? Just, like people look up ridiculous stats to try to make their bets.
Yeah.
Zach, you know all about it.
No doubt.
So apparently someone did, this is a Broncos fan, I guess, did some research. Sean Payton's got quite the record against bald head coaches.
I love this shit.
I
love the internet. Where else? Like, who thinks of this shit? I love it.
So since 2017, Sean Payton is 30-12 against bald head coaches. He's coming for your follically challenged ass, is what this person, Zan B21.
Yeah,
if you're Sean McDermott, are you trying to grow it out?
He also showed proof that he went and did his homework on this.
Okay, I was going to say, so I was going to say, there's no profile picture, but there's apparently a little something on the profile picture. Don't know what that is.
This is.
Oh my gosh,
he's not kidding.
Dan Quinn was getting his ass kicked by Sean Payton for a little bit. Damn, Dan Quinn is on here.
So it's legit. But if you're going to bet underdogs this weekend, still might be the Broncos.
It's a big line. It's a big line.
I love that.
This is what we need. We need more of these things.
I just love, like, who thinks of this shit? Who's like, I gotta see what he's doing against bald head coaches. Because there was the aha moment in that when he's doing the research, when it clicked that he found something. I wish I was there for that. Like the aha moment. There's something here.
You know what? Like, it's almost those ones where you have the coffee in your hand, or you're just reading through, and then all of a sudden it's like you go back, the eyes open up.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, like the look up there, and then you're typing all the way. You're calling like, no, I need this right now. Yeah. Well, what's it about? What's it about, Johnny? What's it about? I'll tell you later.
It's Sean. He's got no hair. Why's that matter? You don't even know.
Should also bet on a Michael Pierce interception this weekend.
Oh, gosh. Over those odds.
I was actually seeing people, that's funny that you brought that up. People are, the new thing right now is betting Super Bowl MVP instead of the Super Bowl winner. And the popular bet right now is Jalen Carter. I don't know how D-Tackle's just got to have a hell of a game. I don't know, but it's like $5 pays out like $30K. And everyone's like, "You're telling me there's a chance?"
That is, you are telling me there's a chance.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Super Bowl MVP, baby.
We got a long way to go until the Super Bowl, kind of, in some ways. And maybe we have some other things planned for the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Wink. All right, let's do it. Baseball, we're flipping the switch here. We're going over to our little bit of a hot stove talk. And for those that want all of that baseball conversation that we had last night, check out the MLB Hot Stove Happy Hour. That live was yesterday. Me, Zach, and Rocco went live for about an hour and 20, a little bit longer. But we had some great conversations involving Charlie Morton, about Luis Ariz, Tony Tater's potential new landing spot, and then with Roki Sasaki. So today we covered all of that, so we could focus specifically, and I think this is a big conversation, at least with our fan base at this moment. Brad, Zach, it's we held off yesterday, Zach, of talking about the Brent Rooker extension.
Yeah,
and Brent Rooker, congratulations for him. I'm pumped for him, and some are saying it's
Friend of the show.
It's a he took a discount. He had to. They're paying him through ARB years. So by the way, like, he probably wasn't going to get as high of the money per year because of the arbitration. So people can understand that. And then there's a vested option. He's going to have to reach certain requirements, but the deal can go from 5 years, 60 mil to up to 6 years, 90 million. But Brent has secured the bag. He's extended, and he's excited about the future with the A's. That's also the reason why he extended. The question then goes to, before this deal, the Orioles and the Athletics were the final two teams that didn't have a player on their roster with an extended contract. So right now it's just Baltimore. And the constant conversation that's been brought up is, well, the Orioles aren't signing these big names. Well, if you're not signing the big names, well, when are you signing your young talent?
Also, my knee-jerk reaction was, that's all Brent Rooker costs?
Well,
that's all it took to get him a long-term contract.
Yeah, well, I knew that are you talking about for him being available, or just like the fact that they were able to come to an agreement?
Just that they were able to come to an agreement like that. I mean, Brent Rooker has been like tearing the cover off the ball last 2 years.
Sorry, I got exciting news, but
I was like, rip.
I can't.
We can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it right now. We'll save it for after.
It's exciting show news.
Exciting show news.
Is it exciting for me?
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, and for Zach too.
Yes, but I
thought he was gonna.
I think I know what this is.
Oh yeah, baby.
Is this bucket list shit for Brad?
I don't know.
It might be.
Your bucket list is.
I think you know what it is. I know. I okay.
Pack your fucking bags. But we'll get into that here in a little bit. But back to this conversation.
Thought the Orioles made a trade, but
sorry. sorry.
I was like, we got an ace.
Oh shit!
You are so wrong on that. Joke's on you.
I was so excited. I was like, yeah.
Oh, we're laughing. It's not a trade for the Orioles. Not a trade. You want an ace? Think again. Oh goodness. Oh, sugar. Oh,
we got
goodness.
Grayson at home.
Yeah. we got Sagano. We got
Charlie.
We got Charlie Morton. Oh man. Woo. Baseball. So Brent Rooker, to finish that conversation, Brad, is that the Ravens, or sorry, not Ravens. My thoughts are all over the place.
Jesus.
I know. Back to it. Brent Rooker. I think, first off, he wanted to be in Oakland. He's 30 years old, too. And his big position moving forward was not going to be a outfielder. It was going to be a DH.
DH, right. He's like a 300 batter.
But the last 2 years have been very good. Last year was the career year. The year before, it showed that he's an everyday bona fide big leaguer who with tremendous upside. Last year it was, okay, this dude's an all-star.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a guy that you want to keep in-house. But the reason why with the A's is that he was going to have to go through years of arbitration. So they're willing to buy it up. Like you brought up Tarek Skubal's arbitration.
$10 million.
So think about that. If Skubal just got that for arbitration, Brent was going to have to go through years of that. Kyle Bradish, I think, is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
But arbitration right now, he got just over $2 million.
It's criminal, honestly.
So Brent is getting an average salary then, essentially, of like $12 million a year. I know it's going to change over that time. So he's locking up some of those years. And who knows if he gets another contract when this is all said and done. But it secured his time right now because you're also banking that you're going to continue having a chance to get $90 million. I know it's great. It'd be different if Brent was a year or two from free agency. If he was, and Brent was going to be 32, being a free agent or something like that, I think that the deal was going to be much higher. Look at what Christian Walker got for 3 years.
Right.
I think Brent Rooker probably gets that or more, like maybe 3 for 60, 4 for 80. $20 million a year. I think that would be a good number.
Which, if you look at so they bought out his next 2 years of arbitration, then it's 3 years after that, and it's very similar. He gets 15 million, 19 million, then 22 million. So it is very, I think, comparable. A little bit less than what Christian Walker would have, got, obviously. But those final 3 years after arbitration, I think, and then he gets 14 million 2027, which would be his last year. So I think it's a good deal for both sides.
If he has another year like he did last year, I mean,
it's a steal.
A lot of it's steal for the A's. The A's are just gonna, but like he'll be a huge trade candidate for a lot of teams.
He could, but the A's. I like what the A's are doing. They got a young core that people aren't talking about enough. But also, like Brent Rooker's year last year, like he was the superstar bat that no one talked about.
Yeah,
enough.
Yeah,
39 jacks and 112 RBIs.
Absolutely own the Orioles.
He does. He loves playing Baltimore, but tied 5th in home runs, 8th in OPS, and 4th in the league, tied for RBI. So that's the money. That's the money.
Look at his.
Jeez.
I mean, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of want Brent to come on and talk about, like, did he think it was a good year for him? Does he think that? But the thing also, K percentage low.
Yeah.
For in perspective
there, squared. So he's a.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's an all or nothing guy, but I mean, when you're putting up that amount of red above it, you can.
So that's the thing is, like, if you're going to strike out a lot, which he did 177 times, he made his hits and his moments count. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want. If you're going to be a big strikeout guy, you got to be able to be really good in the other facets. He was exceptional in the other things, batting average, home runs, and driving in runs.
Yeah.
So now it continues to kind of bring in this conversation. And do we play the clip about what's going on with the Orioles first, about, hey, this is the addition, subtraction of the squad? MLB Network talked about it. So we'll play that clip and we'll discuss it on the other side.
Notable offseason moves here for the Baltimore Orioles. And Mike, it seems like they're in their window and it's not going to be easy sledding, especially in a competitive AL East.
Yeah, and I really like this move because it seems like Charlie Morton was a guy who kind of came into his own a little bit later, age-wise, into his career. And you look at the teams he's been on, I think he made Tampa Bay better. Atlanta gets him. Houston gets him. He's pitched big in some real big games. And as he just said, he kind of recognizes that there's something pretty cool going on in Baltimore. I think they have a tremendous young core of position players. As you look in the infield, with Westberg and Holiday and Gunnar Henderson's, a superstar in the making. I think he sees, wow, there's potential for me to have an impact on this team and for this team to do something really cool. So I don't know. It seems like he's kind of that one-year hired gun for teams that are competitive, a little bit like Justin Verlander, where you're not going to break the bank.
Same price tag.
Yeah, you're going to get quality starts. You're going to get a good guy in the clubhouse. He can have positive influences on other guys. I like this move. Now, for the Orioles, I look at their rotation. You combine it like we saw the graphic earlier, Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez. They're guys that I do like. I don't think the addition of Charlie Morton replaces Corbin Burns. So I'm looking for the Orioles possibly to make another move, or they might be that team that during the season, if they're really making that push and they're close, they still have a deep farm system. They still have prospects. Do you go out and make that trade?
So there it is, right? That's the conversation that we are been discussing of, okay, there's a lot of subtractions, few additions, right? And look, I've told you guys this before. I really think that the only move if the Orioles like could have gotten this guy, and no matter what, it would have been Garrett Crochet, because of it was a bidding war with the Red Sox. It's, are you willing to give up prospects to get Garrett Crochet? And if you wanted it enough, you could have made that move, right? You could have made that move if you wanted. Now, the Red Sox did give up a catching prospect. Sam Basayo was not going to be in that discussion under any circumstances. But you get my point. Everyone else, it's going to be hard. It was going to be Corbin. We already discussed it. He wanted to go to Arizona. Yeah. Again, for people wondering, the Giants had a deal out there for the longest time, and they were getting pissed.
Orioles did too.
And why were teams? But the report the Giants were getting mad.
Yeah.
Because Corbin was waiting for Arizona just to get them to a threshold that he felt comfortable with.
Yep.
And that's what it was. And the Giants were like, well, we're not going to put an opt-out in for you. Like, screw that. Corbin got what he wanted, right? Yeah. That's what he wanted. Blake Snell wanted to be in L.A. Max Fried, 8 years. Love Max Fried.
Wasn't happening here.
It's not going to happen in Baltimore. So you're looking at all
this.
That
wasn't happening anywhere.
Right, so you're looking at all this. And so realistically, that's the one. But now the question comes, okay, is there going to be a trade? Might be. Could be a trade coming. But then realistically, then let's look in-house. When would the Orioles actually start making extensions, and who would be the first couple? I think that's the obvious one, and that's why I brought up the Brent Rooker conversation. The A's were the last team to extend a player, the Orioles now are the final team with the A's extending Brent Rooker that haven't extended someone on their team. So you're looking at the candidates here. And guys, let's knock off the list who they're not going to get done this year, maybe not even next year. Take away Gunnar Henderson.
Yep.
It's not that I don't think that he could stay here. I think that they're going to do everything they can, but who's his agent?
Scott Boras.
And what did Juan Soto just sign for?
A lot of money.
Gunnar Henderson isn't getting anywhere near that.
Well, and Gunnar, though, I'll tell you what, Scott's going to tell him, Gunnar, you could be the first $1 billion player if you continue.
No chance.
I'm telling you, man. If he plays, the inflation of it.
With everything, it's going to be just because Gunnar hits in 5 more years. I don't think $1 billion. I could see him getting 700 just with the way. But unfortunately,
he would have to put up numbers like Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto are putting up. And I'm not saying I'm not saying he can't do it. I was thinking more of like Bobby Witt Jr. and somewhere in between where Bobby Witt Jr. is and a Juan Soto.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bobby got screwed. I mean, not that he got screwed. He got made a lot of money, but he's one of those guys where if he was not signed right now for 12 years, he would be up there for potential first $1 billion player.
Yeah, and Bobby, because of the speed component and the hit tool, and I think Gunnar has it all. And you mentioned Juan Soto, Brad, real quickly, because Gunnar's 22, right? He's going to be 23 this year.
Yeah.
Soto, just for the context of that time period, Soto's 26. So when Soto was 23 3 years ago, which would have put him in Washington, the last 2 years are Soto's biggest years home run wise. 35 and 41, drove in 109 the consecutive years. Gunnar last year in his first, not rookie season, and still in his rookie year, he had 28 jacks. So it's like, just put that out there. Gunnar had 37 home runs last year. So I don't think it's out of the realm of a shortstop and Gunnar's defense gets back to a level, he's going to demand a lot of money. But tomato, Gunner's going to be expensive. Yeah. And his agent, it's not something where the agent, as we're figuring out, if Gunnar really wants to be here, he can tell Scott, and Scott will find the right fit for him to stay in Baltimore. Jackson's in that same category. Jackson Holiday's younger. You're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Agent Scott Boras. But
Westberg.
Once again, so here's the question is, who is the first one?
It'll be Adley.
And it feels like the Adley one. I think an Adley one gets done.
I could see it this season.
I think it could get done.
But here's my question
before the season starts.
I think it's possible. But you have another potential all-star catcher in the minors. So do you really, if you're in the front office, are you really going to put Adley in as for some sort of long-term deal, which I'm sure he's probably looking for, when you know that you have Sam Basayo, who we have heard from other analysts within the Orioles media organization, what have you, that say he could arguably be even better than Adley Rutschman. Not saying that he will, but like, do you spend a long-term contract on an Adley Rutschman when you know you have that kind of talent in minor league ball?
Yeah, I think they do. I don't think this is the move that makes fans sit there and go, oh, we're serious, because I think, honestly, if the only extension that I'm going to put in quotes, save the offseason because you lost Burns, because it looks like you're losing Tony, stuff like that. If they got Gunnar done, I don't see it happening. Suddenly, I think the outlook of this whole offseason changes. Adley makes the most sense. I think they probably would only buy out his remaining years and then maybe add a year or two. I don't think it's going to be like an 8-9 year deal, anything like that, because of what you said, Brad, and just frankly because of the catcher position. It's you're not usually, unless you're the Salvador Perez's of the world, it's very rare you see a catcher going that deep into a career still being an everyday catcher. I think they're going to just, solely because of the glue, he's been the glue of the team, he's been that leader, it seems like. I think that they do get an extension done with him. I think he's the first one. But that does, I don't think that would necessarily be if Mike Elias, you're handing him, this magic key card and you're saying you get one of the young guys automatically signed for 12 years right now, I think in a heartbeat, he'd say Gunnar Henderson. But like we've talked about, I don't think that's plausible because of who his agent is and kind of his trajectory.
Yeah, I think the flexibility if you move Adley off of catcher at some point, and he can play first base and he can also catch with Sam coming up. And again, also you're hoping Sam is what he's being projected at, but to take the pressure off prospects, you don't know how they're going to fully pan out. We don't know. We do know what Adley has been capable of. So I think the Orioles know, and I'm counting on a bounce back from Adley. I thought it was more dealing with things on a mental side, and I think he partially was a little bit banged up, but the mental side's the big part there. I think that it just makes the most logical sense, Brad, 3 to 5, but 3 to 5 years for me with Adley, but it's really of how many of those years is he catching? How many is he not going to be behind the dish? That's where the value is going to be for a hitting catcher. The one guy that I think you could really think about, if he has another good year, I would really be aggressive with Jordan Westbrook. I think he's a guy that you talk to the team and you're talking about glue of a team. It is Westy, but is that a year or two away? Possibly. Could be. And then you're looking at other guys like Grayson, another guy like Dean has a good year. I could see the Orioles dishing out, hey, Dean, you took another jump here. Yeah. We'll give you a 3-year deal. I could see that. I want people to understand this. This isn't necessarily for the Orioles lacking a decision, but I think they're going to have to be aggressive in the next couple years of who they realistically are trying to target. And if that's the case, we're going to see more movement. And I think this conversation will be even deeper in 3 years. Because if you don't re-sign the players, then we're going to have the conversation of it was a disappointment. But as you can see, there's so many different factors that go into it. I love Jackson Holiday. Which Jackson are we going to get? Are you willing to break the bank? Michael Harris on the Braves. We saw the Braves also make all those deals early. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell do they have on these guys? Because it seems like team-friendly deals. Ozzie Albies was one of those. Yeah. Super friendly. Acuna Jr. Yeah. Right? And their value, that was a steal. But the players took the security. Yeah. Some players will take security. But that's kind of rare because you are playing, it's a gamble. And I think for the Orioles right now, I think they want to see one more year of these guys. Just think about that. Kowser's going into his second year in the bigs, full year. Westberg, his second full year in the bigs. Jackson is still a rookie to me. I don't know if he's physically or actually he's not. That's what I thought. But Jackson's still a rookie, in my opinion, just from the experience. Yeah. There's a lot of unknowns there. Now, Bobby Witt Jr., for people's context of extending a guy, do you guys want to guess how many years he played in the bigs?
Before he signed that?
Before he signed that deal last year, before the season.
What, a year and a half?
He had 2 full seasons in.
Yeah.
And then before his 3rd full season in the big leagues, Bobby Witt Jr. signed that deal. So that's my time frame for people. I think that's a great barometer there.
Yeah.
2022 was his first year.
Yeah, I didn't realize he played 150 games.
And played 150. So Bobby had 2 full seasons under his belt, and they said, "Oh, we are sold on who you are."
Yeah.
I think for the Orioles, they're trying to figure out who are we sold on. If Westberg repeats that, I think we could see a Westberg extension 2 years.
Do you think
down the
Scott
road.
Boras is going to go for an extension at all with Gunnar, or is he going to let him ride it out?
It depends on what Gunnar wants.
I think it does depend on what Gunnar wants.
And it's not me being like, oh, if Gunnar, I think if Gunnar, is convinced by Scott that, hey, you can become this $700 million, $600 million man, it's hard not to wait that out. But if Gunnar buys into what he thinks the Orioles are long term, he wants that security of, hey, I'll sign a 12-year deal here for, not as much, but it gives that security aspect. I think it comes down to that. It's going to be tough, though, to sign. Even if he gets it beforehand, it's not going to be for a bargain. That's for sure.
So that will be the question there. But for everything in the big leagues, as excited as you are for this young nucleus, the reality is we haven't seen enough to – you're saying about give the big money. Gunner's the one guy that's like, okay, there it is. Adley's the other guy. Everyone else, you want to see a little bit more before you make that final commitment. And no one believes these guys more than me. I've seen the talent. I know what they're capable of. Now you just got to go out to do it. And it's a way bigger game than this scenario. And again, take out the Braves. Take out the Braves.
That doesn't count.
This is not – the Orioles are not the only team that's going through this thought process.
Right.
So keep that in mind. I'm excited. It should be a great baseball season. We got a lot planned for baseball season. And I saw the number jump up with us talking during baseball during this. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show live every Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also then are doing hot stove happy hours, talking all MLB on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And then check out on Saturday, we're going to be live before the Ravens game to talk a little bit about, a little bit of everything on Wild Card Weekend. It's going to be a blast, guys. I am ecstatic. I'm excited. There's a lot of things to be excited about. So
just real fast, because I just looked it up because I wanted to look at Players' WAR from last year. Just a reminder that the most random thing, unless you were obviously if you watched, he was incredible. But Jarren Duran having the 5th best highest WAR in all of baseball last year is still kind of crazy. I mean, what a freaking second half!
Kyle Corwin was right.
Yeah, the next Babe Ruth. He had 0.8 better WAR than Juan Soto. Unbelievable. What a second half.
I'm just saying, Kyle Corwin.
He told us, he warned us. Then
MVP for Jarren Duran. And shout out the 3-0 Take and Kyle and Nate. They had their 500th episode.
Oh.
And for those that don't know, those guys at the 3-0 Take, 3-0
congratulations.
Take, Kyle and Nate, those are the first guys I hopped on with as I started off in the podcast or social media space.
Mm-hmm.
First guys. So they have been extremely helpful for me from the start. Appreciate those guys. You should go check them out, and I'm sure you're going to see them quite a bit.
Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah.
Getting a little eager over there?
I was just actually trying to see how many videos we have on our channel. Anybody want to take a guess?
We have
1,400.
1,400? Zach?
I'm going to say 2,000.
2,100 videos we have on the channel.
I was going to say, well, it makes sense.
That includes clips, shorts, and everything else.
I was going to say, damn,
we got a ton of videos.
Because I was going to say, we were, especially during baseball season for breakdowns, we were putting out, 8 shorts of perfect breakdown. So,
2,100 videos.
Good shit.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of content. And still so much more we have.
2,162, says Marcus. What are we doing, Rip?
Just figuring some things out. All right. I think we also got to figure things out with what we're doing next here. So I apologize for our call-ins.
Yeah.
We will have that open on Saturday. We have a whole lot planned. And in the meantime, though, if you are a channel member, look for an update on what we have planned here in about 10, 15 minutes and when we can share that information. We've got a lot of great interviews coming your way. And the first one that we're doing starts in about 12 minutes. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And Zach, we need to pull it up. And as always here at the Ryan Ripken Show, brought to you by M&T Bank right there. We're all for the flock here. Ravens, Steelers on Saturday night. Stop by your M&T Bank to get your limited playoff flag. They're going quickly. See you Saturday. Have a day, have a night. It's backwards.